So, Wario fan, what level will you be talking about?
I'm talking about Stage Whale.
All right. And where does this take place?
Inside a whale.
What's the theme of this level?
Whale. I guess if I had to say anything, it's probably spikes. Because compared to everything before, maybe 97% of the ceiling is dangerous. Everything will actually pop your balloon here.
hmm
So you got to be very careful.
This whale, I wonder why his digestive system works that way.
Is that teeth or rib cage?
I'm assuming it's teeth.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's a 500 teethed whale. Considering, I wonder about this whale. I've got so many questions about it.
How would you say this level is paced? How do you group its challenges?
I think maybe I would split it into maybe 5 or 6 parts. The first part being the intro bit where you navigate through the squids and the octopuses.
Those do not look like squids.
I think they're shrimp.
They're shrimps.
Yeah.
What do the octopuses do?
They just jump up and down. You got to predict where they're gonna come up, and they just shove against you. They're not gonna get hurt touching them, but if they come up too fast, they could always bounce you up into the spikes, which is not good news.
Yeah, they're a good deal more rubbery than the usual enemy in this game, right?
Right,
So they highlight how the ceiling is so spike laden. There's something that's likely to push you into the ceiling.
right. It's like if you haven't caught on to the danger of this level by now, these guys are gonna give you a reminder. And the second bit, where there is also the danger of torches, which somehow exist within the whale.
How's she gonna see where you're going?
Oh, of course.
Where do you think body heat comes from? Little tiny cellular torches.
The first bonus stage, you got enough room to maneuver in, and it's pretty much the only spikeless area in this level. The third bit, where you're navigating through some fire, some fish.
Those fish enemies are their movement, anyways, is exactly the same as the birds in level 3.
They give two enemies the same exact function but different sprites.
The reskin.
It's mostly, I guess, for fictional purposes because a living shrimp and octopuses are a-okay, but a living bird, no, that's out of the question.
And that's where the conundrum with the bonus stage comes in. You kind of have to choose whether or not you want to keep following the balloons or if you want to try and trick yourself into that second bonus stage, which I found is incredibly hard to do. Their spikes they're ready to get you. And you got to try and figure out if you can balance yourself to squeeze yourself through that little passage to play the bonus game again.
Right. I actually had it in mind for a different reason. If you just take the upper route and go into the bonus stage, it spits you out after those two balloons below the platform. So you've screwed yourself on the perfect for that stage.
Yeah, that is an annoying one.
Oh man, so the bonus games don't count for perfect?
Right, they don't matter.
So if you want to do the balloons and the bonus stage, what you have to do is go forward, like rush forward to the lower path, get the balloons, then go back and go back up to the top path to collect the bonus stage.
Oh wow, that's wild.
But this stage does have two bonus stages.
Yeah, I guess the whale swallowed two Game Boys. Wanted to make sure that its other captors could play together.
It's his favorite food.
Did it swallow a link cable?
I sure hope so.
I don't see one in there.
It probably just fell in the water.
Oof.
And then the fourth section would be just after the second bonus stage, where you get to navigate a little under the platform here. You navigate through some flying fish.
If you do take the upper area and you don't follow the line of balloons, then you've got the two skeleton fish at the top. And it's really interesting because they move in a slight sine wave. And if you're on that platform and you've still got your balloons inflated, then based on your timing, you can actually just very narrowly get underneath, well, at least one of the enemies there, and avoid your balloon being popped. And so that was a very neat, but also very tight challenge.
And then this is where you decide if you want to really go for all the balloons, because you get a very brief spikeless part here. It's spikeless, but also has falling spikes.
Well, there is a P balloon that spawns just before this. So usually what ends up happening with me is I charge forward and get to knock out all the...
Yeah. So if you had the P balloon, then it doesn't matter, because you can just... Yeah, you're right. So I guess depending on whether or not you maneuver yourself to getting the P balloon will determine how you handle this section.
Right.
And then the last section would be going through the little maze of sea creatures and fire up until we get to the boss.
I also think it's interesting that in the last level, we had enemies that would sort of move horizontally and force you to move, well, if you wanted the balloon, to move in between them. And what we have here is a similar effect, except that the enemies are moving vertically. Because spikes are basically their own enemy, except that they're in a fixed position. Like, we still have the sandwiching effect going on, but just with different lines of motion.
Another bit about this level is that these are also faster, enemies that move vertically faster compared to the spiders, and because of that it's much more difficult to weave under them. In addition to that, because there's so many spikes on the ceiling, a lot of this level you'll find yourself, especially when going for the balloons, just trying to maintain a single spot vertically for as much as you can so you don't accidentally touch the octopus, bounce all over the place, bump into a spike, etc.
It's easy to lose control and then everything goes to hell from there.
Yeah.
So it seems to me, after listening to the whole thing, that it's a kind of a verse and chorus thing where you have the chorus is when you get shrimps and octopuses trying to push you into the ceiling, and the verse is whenever you have platforms giving you kind of an awkward setup against the ceiling.
Yeah, I like that idea. It really does describe the innards of this whale pretty well.
About the boss,
Yes!
how does it attack you?
It jumps up from the water and tries to hit you.
And if it hits you, what happens?
Gosh, I never played that poorly.
It just bumps you.
Oh, it just bumps you, okay. Oh, but that actually is a kind of a spikeless part, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really weird that they'd remove the one danger that's been permeant through the whole course and sort of make it a non-issue for the boss.
I think what the boss is going for is trying to tempt you to fall into the water, because otherwise it's just him jumping up and making himself vulnerable.
Right. To be honest, the boss was why I chose this stage. Because maybe I played level 2 wrong, but the first time I played through it, I kind of treated the boss there as a platformer, where I would run around the ground and try to jump on its head. But here, you don't have that luxury. So that's when you're thinking, if you want to play like that, how are you going to be able to, jump on him and win? Well, that's when you find out something else about Balloon Kid mechanics, where you can let go of the balloons, bounce on top of the guy, and grab your balloons that you just gave up. Which is just a really cool thing, I think. Because it means that what do you want to call it? That your life force is retrievable. You're not in danger if you let go of your balloons, because you have a chance to grab them back.
Yeah, the balloons exist separately from the character. at all times.
It also gives you a higher skill ceiling because it's not like you can either have balloons or not have balloons. You can be in this awkward state where balloons exist to be gotten again.
Yeah, and I thought that was really cool.
I'll be honest, as a kid I never realized you could get the balloons again, so I just did this boss by jumping on the platforms.
Oh my gosh.
Yourself, did you have any thoughts on this level?
I was sort of puzzled for a while at what the final boss was supposed to be, because it has the body of a shrimp, but then that big claw. But then I remembered that there are shrimp that have large claws, like a pistol shrimp. So
I gotta be honest, the claw looks like a beak to me.
yeah, that's what I thought for a while too, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be a claw. Anyway, yeah, I think it's a pistol shrimp.
There's something about this stage I gotta wonder. I mean, the texture in the background, you kind of get the impression, okay, it's supposed to be slimy whale guts, but why does it suddenly change near the exit?
Yeah, that is a little. There's like some ribbing to it there.
Columns to support his mouth.
Yeah, I guess so.
What's with all the whale levels, all the inside whale levels? Why is that such a big trope?
I think it's a biblical thing.
Because Jonah?
Yeah, but what other biblical tropes do you feel like really permeate the platformer genre?
What other biblical tropes would make a good platformer level?
I don't know, Daniel and the Lion's Den? That's the other action story.
Well, I guess Pinocchio popularized it too, so.
Oh yeah, there's.
Oh, yeah, right, Pinocchio. Still don't.
This is a
Okay.
kind of a Pinocchio game, right?
I guess so. Well, where else could you live in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I do notice that I've stopped lying as much since I played it.